Duryodhana launched an attack on the Matsya kingdom from the north, taking advantage of King Virata being away in the south, defending against Susarma. Duryodhana's army was mighty, with renowned warriors like Bhishma, Dronacharya, his son Asvatthama, Kripa, and Karna leading the charge. They captured the kingdom's cows during the raid. The cowherds and border soldiers rushed to the royal palace to inform the king, but he was already away on the southern front. The only male royal left in the city was Prince Uttara, who was in high spirits, surrounded by the women of the palace. When he heard the news, he boasted confidently, "I can defeat any army by myself, even if it's the famous Kaurava forces, but I don't have a charioteer to take me to the battlefield." The women in the palace were amused, but not entirely convinced by his bold claims, as they had no way to measure his abilities. Sairandri, who overheard Prince Uttara's bragging, could barely contain her laughter. She turned to Princess Uttara, the prince's sister, and said, "My dear princess, there is an excellent charioteer right here. Brihanala, your dance teacher, is a master at driving chariots. In fact, he helped Arjuna when they burned down the Khandava forest. If your brother takes Brihanala with him, he can definitely defeat the Kauravas and return victorious with the cattle." Excited, Princess Uttara ran to her brother and eagerly shared what Sairandri had told her. But Prince Uttara, not convinced, exclaimed in disbelief. Prince Uttara was filled with disbelief and mockery at the suggestion. "What a ridiculous idea," he said. "How can a warrior like me have a eunuch as my charioteer? I can't stand the sight of one." However, Princess Uttara was not swayed by her brother's derision. She stood firm and replied, "Don't underestimate my teacher. He's incredibly talented and can do far more than just dance. You must take him with you." Reluctantly, the prince agreed, mostly because his sister insisted. Overjoyed, Princess Uttara quickly summoned Brihanala, who had already been prepared by Sairandri and was eagerly waiting for the moment. As soon as Brihanala arrived, the prince made a snide remark. "You know, driving a chariot isn't the same as dancing." With a respectful tone, Brihanala replied, "Prince, I am well aware that dancing is not chariot driving, and I understand that battle is no game. Let's go." Brihanala was handed the armor, and to everyone's amusement, pretended not to know how to wear it, putting it on the wrong way. The women watching laughed, as the prince had to teach Brihanala how to wear the armor properly. Once fully suited up, Prince Uttara donned his warrior's gear, ready from head to toe. Brihanala brought the golden chariot, and with the confidence of a seasoned fighter, Prince Uttara climbed aboard, while Brihanala took the reins. At the royal gate, a crowd had gathered to give the young prince a grand send-off. Maidens threw flowers on the chariot and lit camphor lamps in honor of the departing warrior. The bugles blared, the trumpets sounded, and the chariot rolled out to the fanfare of the royal orchestra. Priests chanted Vedic hymns, blessing the prince for victory. As they set off, Princess Uttara made a playful request to Brihanala. "Bring me some pieces of cloth or feathers from the helmets of the Kaurava heroes to decorate my dolls." With a smile, Brihanala replied, "Lovely princess, I will gladly bring you what you wish for," and eagerly steered the chariot toward the north, excited at the chance to confront the Kaurava army. As they approached, Prince Uttara soon spotted the massive Kaurava forces, surging like an ocean on a full moon night. Panic-stricken, the prince shouted, "Brihanala, stop the chariot for a moment!" But Brihanala didn't stop. Instead, the chariot sped up. The prince, now irritated, commanded with authority, "Charioteer, halt the chariot immediately!" Prince Uttara, now terrified, shouted, "Brihanala, I command you to stop the chariot!" But Brihanala ignored his words, driving the chariot straight toward the enemy's camp. As the prince got a clear view of the Kaurava army, fear overtook him. His body trembled, his lips quivered, and sweat poured down his face. Desperate, he begged Brihanala, "I'm too young. I've never seen a battlefield before. I'm all alone, and our armies are in the south. Please, stop the chariot. Let's go back to the palace." Despite the prince's pleas, Brihanala paid no attention and continued speeding toward the enemy camp. Seeing the prince's distress, Brihanala finally spoke. "Noble prince, you promised the ladies in the palace that you would defeat the enemy and return victorious. If we turn back now, they'll mock us as cowards. Don't worry, I'll defeat the enemies for you. Just drive the chariot."